All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Very good.
We have with us Megan Passamato and Andrew Planey, co-owners of On and Scranton Cleanouts. For the second week in a row, you are here telling us all about what you do every day. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we cover many real estate topics. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors who've been advising, assisting, and guiding clients in real estate matters for 50-plus years.
50 years. Does that make us an antique or we're not an antique yet?
I think Andrew may have referred to you as getting
I'm getting close to being an antique. All right.
Not me.
Oh, no, not you. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, there's a webcam tab at the top of the page. You click on that and you'll get a live view of Dunmore Corners from the new high definition camera. And it's pretty cool.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com, where we also have all the popular podcast apps that we feature our radio show on. If that's what you like to do, you can podcast. Look us up on social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Okay, Megan Passamato and Andrew Planey, co-owners of On and Scranton Cleanouts. This is the time of year everybody's gearing up to get their house on the market, and I think Scranton Cleanouts is a wonderful service. It's something that people maybe try to start things on their own and then call in the pros when they get overwhelmed. But really, I think your message last week was let us come in first to see what you have, because you own On. And if you could just tell our listeners this week that didn't tune in last week what On is, and of course, Scranton Cleanouts, please.
Sure. On is a vintage and handmade marketplace located on Capouse Ave next to National Bakery in Scranton. And Scranton Cleanouts is an offshoot of On.
You were realtors with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. You saw the need, because there is a need. A lot of times people have their houses, they inherit a house. It's their parents' house, a family home. It is jam-packed with items. They don't know where to start, how to do it, and they're overwhelmed. Maybe they live out of the area, but they need somebody to come in and go through the stuff and remove it. And sometimes it's the whole house. Sometimes it's just a few things. But On can actually sell some of the items that they have, correct?
Correct, yes. Like you said, a lot of times there might be a family member that is going into assisted living. It might be somebody who passes that was living in the house, and it could be a third generation house. And like you said, it's packed full of things. It's always great for the entire family to go through, pick out things that they would like or they could use or as a memory of that family member. But then there's going to be so much left. There's going to be a full attic, a full basement. There's, some broken up furniture. There's some good furniture. There's a cost involved with removing all this to get it ready for a sale of the property. With the fact that we have On as a place that sells vintage furniture, goods, things like that, it gives us an opportunity to clean out the house, put a value on the majority of stuff, and then be able to sell it. We don't like seeing much going into the landfill. That's something that we're very much against. So with the cost of what the clean out's going to be, we can offset that with the cost of the goods that we can sell.
Makes sense to me. It's a win-win for everybody. So, sometimes people, though, value things, the collection pieces, the Hummels, the Department 57, the 100 pieces that they have that they put around the Christmas tree or display at Christmas time. Stamp collections. Are these valuable items?
Not as
Really?
valuable as they used to be, probably, and that's why
Or to the
yeah.
person that had them.
To had them, yes, meant something to them. It's valuable to them, and that's why it's important before people start throwing things away in a clean out situation where sometimes they think the stuff's just junk. That's the first thing they want to do when they need to get a house ready, starts throwing things away, and then they save things. And why it's important to call somebody like us first before you start doing any of that.
Because we will do the research to find out about everything. And then a lot of the stuff that we aren't able to sell at our shop and is still as a use, that's donated. We have several charities in the Scranton area that we deal with to give them this stuff, especially clothing or other furniture that we're not going to sell at the shop. It's going to be useful to somebody else, people in need that would have a use for things. And that's very important to us too.
Right. So I have a family member that often talks about what will happen with her house after she passes, and it's like every day I'm reminded you are not to sell anything. You're just to give it away. So I think that and that's part of what we do. We just always donate things that we can't use. We don't sell them, and that's important for people. They feel like they're doing good.
Correct. Yes, and there are organizations that will come and pick through the stuff, taking what they can use for charity. We offer the service of actually going in and taking everything else too. So that's where there's a benefit for us. We're going through cleaning the house to the point where it's broom swept and ready for a photographer to come in or a realtor to come in and get it ready for sale.
Well, that's important for people who are working full-time, have families and other things on their plate. So you go in and you do it all for them.
Right. That's what separates you guys from the auctioneers, because we've had auctioneers on the show before, and they made it perfectly clear. They said, we don't do the cleanouts. We just come in and we sell what we're going to sell, and then you're left with all the other things. So that's what I really like about you guys is you take care of it all.
Correct. And that's another thing other than auctioneers, a lot of estate sales. They'll come in, a company will come in and say, okay, we'll do an estate sale, which is great because you have these buyers traipsing through your house, going through all your stuff, but they're picking out what they want and they're throwing the other stuff on the floor. And so at the end of an estate sale, you might have a couple $100, couple $1,000, but you still have a whole house full of stuff that they didn't want. So that's where we know that there's this cost involved with doing a clean out. On a average 3-bedroom home, we're going to be there for probably a week, going through everything, packing it up, making sure everything's taken care of. There's costs involved with that. We have employees, dumpsters when needed, but actually just going through everything, going back, we take a lot back to our warehouse, go through that.
What about a TV? One of those big TVs?
Oh, that's another thing that's very important to us. We don't want to put electronics or paint. Everybody has buckets of paint that they've had through the years of their house. That has to be disposed of properly. That all takes time. It all costs money. Pat said about TVs. A lot of people have an old tube TV that's in their house. You're not supposed to throw those away. You leave those out at the curb. I don't even think in Dunmore they'll take that, but they cost to get rid of you upwards of 85 cents a pound. And some of those TVs they could weigh 60, 70 pounds, 100 pounds.
How about those TVs? They came in. It was actually a piece of furniture. Could you remove the
consoles?
Yes, the consoles. Is there a market for those? Not so.
I mean, I've seen people repurpose them, but it's a lot of work, and you still have to get rid of the insides. Yeah, no, there's not a market for them.
All right, okay. Now, how about costume jewelry? Is there a market for that?
There is. I mean, it's not worth. I mean, nobody's going to get rich off of it, but people enjoy it. People like it. They like being able to change their look. They're, have a little piece that's vintage, and so a lot of that stuff is made better than what's made now.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and it's got a little style, so there's definitely a market for it.
Okay. So what are we overlooking here? We talked about Christmas decorations last week, all the pieces that of yesteryear, they're popular now. People want those.
Not only Christmas, Halloween decorations, hugely popular. We have blow molds for Easter in our shop. We have, you know what a blow mold is, no. Jackie? It's a piece of lawn decoration.
It's big molded plastic that people would put in their yards, and they don't last forever. They get faded, but it's stuff like that people kind of got sick of and threw away. Now people want them.
They want them.
They don't make them as much anymore now. They have the inflatable decorations for the yard. So I'm not a personal fan of the blow molds. I think they look a little old. But yeah, very popular in the shop.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So what I like to see is I follow your Facebook page. You're big on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You post your items there, really neat stuff, and it's gone in 10 minutes. Sold.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Social media is great for us. I mean, we do it. We try to post 3 different cool things a day just to remind people we're out there and to bring people into the shop again. You know, they see one cool thing. And it's funny, though, because somebody buys something and they're like, oh, my God, I've been looking for this forever. And I can't believe I missed it. And I'm like, well, it's been in the shop for 3 months. It's just we haven't posted it. So we have lots of goodies there.
You had the Coleman lantern that I saw that I had to have. The new ones are junk. And you had you had one that had to be 40, 50 years old. And the thing was brand spanking new. And I grabbed that thing and I brought it home. And Jackie goes, what are you going to do with that? She says, you never know. You might need it.
And there's a lot of things that might not have as much value as a brand new in the box Coleman lantern from the 50s, but it's something that someone else is going to cherish. It's a little candy dish that grandma used to have. It's that piece of clothing. It's a belt. There's so many things.
Good stuff. And, you have 6,000 square feet. So there is no possible way anyone would be on top of each other in your shop. And we're mindful of that these days because of the pandemic, and life has changed because of it. So we don't like to be close to people anymore in the same space. Mm-hmm. And it is spread out.
It is. And we try to keep the aisles open. Everybody stays in their own space. You go to some shops, I know, and it gets a little crowded. You can't get through there. But yeah, it's nice and open. And through the pandemic, and when people were worried about, there weren't things to do. And, we've been busy because there's something to do. You can spend an hour and a half on and on just looking at things.
Right. And you started off on Lackawanna Avenue. Can you imagine? I mean, this place is 10 times, probably more, the size of that place. You did so well there. You were able to move here to Caphouse Avenue, better parking, right?
Yes, free parking.
More space. But that place was amazing, too.
Well, thank you.
We feel very lucky because we do have a good group of vendors that work with us, and our local artists
are amazing. Very talented. Right. And you have 60 vendors offering all different items.
Right.
So if you have and we have a couple, those people that are hard to buy for, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, there's such nice things down there that are different.
I'd rather go down there than wander around Walmart for an hour.
Or go on Amazon.
Oh, yeah. You're killing the local business with that.
No, that's what you come in, and we tell people that all the time. When you get a gift from On and On, they're not going to get 2 of the same thing. There's no way.
No way.
It's a one-of-a-kind item.
Good stuff. Megan Passamano and Andrew Planey, co-owners of On and Scranton Cleanouts. Can I have information on both, please? Contact information.
So Scranton Cleanouts can be found online at scrantoncleanouts.com. The phone number is 570-591-1582. On and On can be found at 1138 Caphouse Avenue in Scranton, right next door to National Bakery. We're the building with the big white shrew on the side of it. And you can also find us at onandonscranton.com.
Thank you. And you're also on Facebook and
Instagram.
Okay, great. Pat, would you like to review a listing, please?
Yes. We have a beautifully maintained 4-bedroom, 2-bath home at 504 East Drinker Street in Dunmore for $194,000. This home, it sits on a corner lot with a large family room. It's got plenty of light. The updated kitchen has a seated center island, which adjoins the dining area. The home has a newer roof and a furnace, along with low taxes of only $2,400 a year. In the rear of the home, there's a covered rear patio that leads out to a large, Andrew, it's got a really big 2-car garage. You'd like this place. Nice. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home with the 2-car garage at 504 East Drinker Street in Dunmore for only $194,000. And that's listed by Stacy Granza of our office.
Thank you, Pat. I have the Greater Scranton Board of Realtors multi-list statistics for single-family residential homes sold year-to-date. Median sales price for 2 bedrooms or less is $83,500. Median sales price for 3 bedrooms is $179,900, and for 4 bedrooms or more, the median sales price is $239,900. And these are for this is for Lackawanna, Luzerne, Monroe, Pike, Wayne, and Wyoming counties. That's the sold data. How are people paying for these homes? What are they doing at closing? 20% are bringing cash. That's year to date for single family homes. 51% are doing the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional type of loan. 20% are FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, and 5% are the Veterans Administration VA loans.
So cash is down to 20%?
Yeah,
Wasn't that more?
That was a
lot more a year ago. It was like
more.
30-some-odd%.
Right. That's dipping, and of course, conventional is the highest.
So I could get two bedrooms for the price of 1 3-bedroom? Is that what you just said?
Yes, pretty much so. Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We will be back after a very brief break.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. You're rejoining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
With Megan Pasamato and Andrew Planey, co-owners of On and Scranton Cleanouts. We're having 2 weeks of fabulous discussion with you two. I would like to learn about how the process works regarding the cleanouts.
Okay, well, usually what we do is we'll get a call from either a realtor or a homeowner that's looking to put a house up for sale. The problem is the house is full of stuff. So what we would like to do is, rather than people starting to clean it out themselves or saying, I'm helping you out by getting a dumpster and do that, they give us a call right away. We'll make an appointment to come to their house, do a walkthrough of the house, see the amount of stuff that there is, and then while we're doing that, also look at the value of the things. Because since there is a cost in doing this, we want to make sure that we can at least meet our costs to not actually have to bill the homeowner or the estate owner for the clean out. In rare circumstances, we do find valuable stuff that is actually worth more than the cost of the clean out. So we then will pay back or...
Well, for someone that's just jumping in on the show right now, you have On, which is a 6,000-foot warehouse that you sell items, vintage, antique. So the valuable items that you might find at a cleanout, you'll be able to take back to On and sell.
Correct. So that's part of our process. When we do the walkthrough of the house, we set up a time and a date that we'll actually start to clean out. On average, for a 2 or 3 bedroom house with a full basement and an attic, it will take us about a week to clean out the entire house. During that time or after that time, we'll go through all the items and see what is sellable at our shop that is donatable, or lastly, that will have to go into a dumpster.
Which is the last resort.
Correct. Yeah. There's a lot of things that can't go into the dumpster, and we take care of that, and there's expenses with that. But there's a lot of reasons why somebody would want to do a clean out.
Yeah, and we see this sometimes. It's an emotional time when someone's passed away and they need to sell the house, and it's really hard for some people. It's their mom's house, and they're going through everything, and it's one box. Could take an hour. And it's like, call us. We'll set aside any personal papers, any pictures, or anything like that, but then it's just off your shoulders. We can do it. We can go through everything. We can clean it out. It's a really hard process for a lot of people, and we understand that.
Physically and emotionally.
Yeah,
very taxing.
Yes, it's very taxing.
Okay. So you remove all that for people. And how does someone get in touch with Scranton Cleanouts, please?
You can find us online at scrantoncleanouts.com, or you can call us at 570-591-1582.
I'm sure you have discovered some really neat and intriguing items over the years. You want to tell us some of your finds?
We've been doing this for the Scranton Cleanouts part for probably about 5 years now. Found a lot of different stuff. It's funny what people have in their attics, have in their basements. What's
the most interesting find, Andrew?
Interesting. I remember we were going through a bunch of items that we found in a house in Scranton. It was a really interesting woman who lived there. Megan likes to say that she was a rocker chick.
She was the 80s rocker chick. She had thigh-high boots that we found and these tight clothes, and they were just awesome.
But great records, rock records from the 80s, all kinds of great stuff. And she needed to move real quick. She needed to get everything out. And we were happy to be able to help her. But we were going through a bag that had a bunch of shoes, and there was just a box.
And he found it in the top of a closet.
Right.
And I started to open up the box, and I saw the label on it.
She got excited, and she was like, "Oh, what is this? It's heavy. I don't know what it is." It was like, the rocker chick's mom. She was cremated, and so we contacted her. She apologized. She got her mom back, but it's a little shocking when you find things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be very interesting.
What do you do if you're cleaning, you're going through stuff, and you find like somebody's got like pistols in a box or boxes of ammo or stuff like that?
Guns,
I'm sure that guns. I'm sure that's common
Do you
around
sell
here.
guns?
We don't sell guns.
No. And we would just contact the owner and say, we found this. This is something that you need to take care of. And that's the same thing if we found, Andrew always jokes, if we find gold bullion pieces hidden in the wall, we're going to tell you about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And attics are where sometimes you find the most interesting things. You found building plans for one of the properties we owned.
Yeah, we had a building, and I was in the crawl space, crawling around doing electric wire, and I went where no man has gone before in the past 60 years. And there was a box of building plans back there, the original building plans, and the building was over 100 years old. And there was stacks of the paper from Dunmore Lumber. I don't know what it was called back then, but it was what the lumber cost and all the bills and pages and boxes of stuff. And then I found something that said war bonds. I says, "Oh, gee, I'm from World War I." I says, "I'm rich." There was nothing there. They were just empty envelopes. So I didn't win the lottery on that one.
It's a shame. A lot of times you have a really hot attic or a really damp basement. So there is a lot of things that we find that people stored, but they don't make it during years.
It just kind of crumbles when you try to move it.
Right.
Yeah.
Where one of a more popular thing that we saw at the shop is vintage Christmas. And a lot of people would put that in their attic, and then a box would be put in front of that, and then they would forget about it. And this is something that we find or we look into, and we're like, oh, this is great. This is somebody's really going to enjoy this. And then you touch it, and it just
disintegrates.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've seen on social media, you have a lot of things from the Globe. I grew up at the Globe store, or you have, the collectibles, like the Globe. There was a bear.
Rudy Bear,
right, right.
Yeah, so those are a lot of things that we find in local houses, and people love local Scranton history.
They do.
Yeah.
Once again, maybe not worth that much, but to that person who worked at the Globe or Scranton Dry Goods, or that it's a memory, and we're happy to be able to find it and give it a life to live on and on.
Sure, and people really like it. Or the Charlemont, that was the restaurant of the Globe. And I'm also thinking about Scranton Central High School and Tech. There's things there I've seen down at your shop, and I know people go gaga over that.
Sure. And we seem to find a lot of Dunmore things, too. Dunmore Buck T-shirts.
Go Bucks.
Yeah, and we have a whole section of just local Scranton history.
You even sell T-shirts at sometimes, not always, but you've had Scranton T-shirts that are...
Scranton T-shirts or the area T-shirts from the local high schools, colleges. You're saying from the early 90s, that's vintage. Another thing that we find that's very popular now is T-shirts from concerts. I don't know what music you were into. Led Zeppelin. If we would find a Led Zeppelin
that would be fine
concert T-shirt, you're talking worth a couple $100 easy.
Nice.
You might want to check his closet, see what he's got.
I don't know. I think he's past those days, aren't you?
I went to a Led Zeppelin concert. It was in the summer of 1977. Was before Megan was born, in Madison Square Garden. That was a night to remember.
Oh, I bet.
Did you buy a T-shirt?
I don't remember. It was one of those nights.
Okay, Megan Pasamato, Andrew Planey, co-owners of On and Scranton Cleanouts. Once again, your contact information, because now is the time to get started on that cleanout so you can list your property. We do need homes to sell. Inventory is very low. We have buyers, pre-approved, cash buyers ready to go.
You can find Scranton Cleanouts online at scrantoncleanouts.com. Our phone number is 570-591-1582.
Yeah, don't let the house be in a big mess keep you from selling it. To have another year of taxes or paying the heat, we can come and help you take care of that and get it on the market.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than you think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with you guys involved. Great stuff. Pat, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about commercials, TV commercials we've been watching lately coming on. And I just want to let our listeners know sometimes these commercials could be a little misleading.
Oh, you mean the one that says the top realtors will sell your house for nothing?
Right. Those commercials, kind of misleading. And I want to tell our listeners how it works. So realtors can sign up to these with these companies to buy leads. They pay a lot of money. Sometimes you're not going to get the top agents. To find a top agent, go to local real estate websites who often put up recommendations and surveys. We have ours on jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com, where you can check out all our realtors and their reviews. What happens with these big companies, they're spending a lot of money to market themselves. They get their money from realtors who pay them. So what happens is you put your name in on a little form online, and 20 realtors are calling you because they want that business. Your phone is blowing up, and you're not usually getting the top agents in the market. So beware. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Right. They're going to do it for like 1%. Did you ever see those commercials, 1% or 2%? You pay 1% or 2%, you get 1% or 2% service.
But it's really misleading. It's only the listing side, because the last, which we froze on our TV, we took a picture of it, and it says buyer's agents are usually compensated going rate 2 to 3%. Well, how could you pay them only 2% and then so it's added on, and it says the listing side. It's very misleading for that reason.
Got to read between the lines.
Beware. right?
Yep.
We're out of time. Thanks for joining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM. The Talker will be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m.